Hey guys, as you just saw, I'm Miss Hudak and I am a general music teacher at Godley Station School. Today we're going to be doing an activity that I think you can do at home and do along with me as I'm teaching. So let's get started. So first thing I want to talk about is body percussion. So at home we have our bodies and we can use that as a percussion instrument to play along with songs, to keep the beat to songs. So let's just do a quick warm up and do some body percussion. So I want you to echo me, okay? Repeat after me. Your turn. My turn. Your turn. Now I'm going to make it a little trickier. Your turn. My turn. Go. My turn. Your turn. Good. So what I want you to think about is our body is used as a percussion instrument. Now in my class, we've started talking about the different types of instruments, and today we're going to focus on percussion instruments because in your house, you have so many options for percussion instruments that you didn't even know about. So percussion simply means something that you can strike, shake, or scrape in order to make a noise. So examples of that in the music classroom: hand drums, bongos, maracas, maybe a guiro that we scrape. However, you're stuck at home right now, which means you might not have access to all of those instruments that you see in your music class. So let's find some items at our house that we could use as a percussion instrument for this lesson. So I'm going to show you a couple examples. So at my house, I have this cool little cooling rack. It kind of reminds me of a washerboard, which is also considered an instrument. And then I got these giant plastic spoons that I don't really use that I could play to scrape this. Because I'm able to scrape it and make a sound while I'm scraping it, this is now considered a percussion instrument. Now, if you're not fancy like me and you don't have a little cooling rack, you could also go into your pantry and maybe you have a thing of pasta, like macaroni. Or maybe you have a thing of beans or a thing of rice. How do you think I'm going to play this? If you said shake, you're right. Just like a maraca, I can shake this. And at the end of the lesson, we're going to do something fun that involves things that you can shake. Now, because of the type of percussion I'm going to be doing today, I'm going to be using this giant pink bowl. Now, I can play this two ways. I can strike it with my spoons that I have. So I have a second one. Flip them over like drumsticks. And go like this. Or, because I'm going to have a book in my hand, I'm going to just use this as a hand drum and use my hands. Now in your house, you might not have a giant, lovely pink heart bowl like I do. You might have a mixing bowl. You might have a metal bowl. You might have a pot that you would make pasta in. Whatever you have at home, I want you to go look around and find something that you could play as a percussion instrument. Now while you're doing that, I'm going to tell you about the two types of percussion instruments there are so you have time to grab your instrument. There are two types, pitched and non-pitched. This right here is considered non-pitched. The reason being is when you drum it, it only makes one sound. When I change my sticks, when I'm playing with the sticks now, it still only makes one sound with this stick. When I shake my macaroni, it only makes one sound, which means that it is non-pitched. Now the second type of percussion that you probably don't have at home is called a pitched percussion instruments. Examples of this would be xylophones, pianos, you have the marimba, you have the vibraphone. All of those are pitched percussion because when you're playing them, as you move around the keys, it's going to change pitch from low to high and high to low and bounce around. My drum, doesn't matter where I strike it, it's really not changing its sound. So because of this lesson, you are looking for a non-pitched percussion. Hopefully by now you all have your drum. And what we're going to do today is we are going to take one of my favorite stories, which is hand, hand, fingers, thumb, and we are going to find An ostinato, a simple repeated pattern that we can add our drums to. So first, let me read this story to you. While I'm reading it, listen for a pattern that repeats that you think makes sense to play our drums with. Hand, fingers, thumb. One thumb, drumming on a drum. One hand, two hand, drumming on a drum. Dum diddy dum dum dum. Rings on fingers, rings on thumbs, drum diddy dum dum dum. Monkeys drum and monkeys hum, dum diddy dum dum dum. Hand picks an apple, hand picks a plum, dum diddy dum dum. Hand plays a banjo, strum strum strum, hand plays fiddles, zum zum zum. Dum diddy dum dum. You starting to hear a pattern that comes up a lot? Hand in hand, more monkeys come. Many more fingers, many more thumbs, many more monkeys, many more drums. Millions of fingers, millions of thumbs, millions of monkeys drumming on a drum. Dum diddy dum dum. All right, so we finished our story. Did anyone hear a repeated pattern? Think about it. What pattern did you hear happen over and over and over again? If you were thinking dum diddy dum dum, you are correct. That is our repeated pattern. That is our ostinato for this story. Now, thinking in terms of music, how many syllables does the word dum have? Dum. One syllable. Do we know a music note that makes one sound that we've learned in music class? If you're thinking of the music note ta or quarter note, you are correct. So I have my little whiteboard here. So if we think of the word dum as a quarter note or ta, now I can fill that into my ostinato. All right, now we also had the word diddy. How many syllables is the word diddy? Diddy. Did we do a rhythm that had two sounds? If you're saying TT or the barred eighth note, you are correct. So now in our ostinato, we have a barred eighth note that we can throw in. Now we have dum, diddy, dum, dum, and then we have nothing at the end. So if you've done this already, this is what we call a quarter rest. So this is a moment of silence in our ostinato. So when we get to that last beat of this 8-beat phrase, we are going to not play our instruments. So let's practice that first. So what I want you to do is I want you to repeat after me. Dum, diddy, dum, dum, dum. Ready, go. Good. Now, if you've been in my class, you know that before I play any instruments, I like to clap the pattern. So, I go first, you go second. Listen first. Dum, diddy, dum, dum, rest. Your turn, ready, go. Dum, diddy, dum, rest. Now, because I know that rests are kind of hard and we always want to keep clapping, I'm going to give you one more shot before we start playing it. Ready, go. Dum, diddy, dum, rest. All right, now I'm assuming you have your percussion instrument in front of you, and we are going to now play our pattern on our percussion instrument. I'm going to use my hands, because at a certain point, I'm going to have to read the story again, and I can't have spoons in my hand. If you've decided that you wanted to have spoons as your stick, always remember, this drum is delicate. Do not play it too hard. If you are using sticks, play it gently. We don't want to break any spoons at home. All right? Now, hands ready? On your drum. I go first. You go second. It sounds like this. Dum, diddy, dum, to the rest? No? Let's try it one more time then. Ready? Go. Dum, diddy, dum, 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 rest. And you notice I throw my hands in the air because I'm a person who likes to keep drumming, and I know that if my hands are on my drum, I'm going to keep drumming. If you're a person who can keep your hands down here and not play the drum, by all means, keep it there. But I have to go like this to stop myself from playing again. We're going to do it one more time because third time is the charm. Ready? Go. Dum, diddy, dum, dum, rest. All right, nice job. Now, we're going to go back to our story. Now, while I'm reading this story, whenever you hear me do dum, diddy, dum, dum, you're going to get ready on your instrument because then I'm going to say it's your turn and you're going to play along. You ready? All right. Ready position with your hands at your drum. Hand, fingers, thumb, one thumb, drumming on a drum. One hand, two hands, drumming on a drum. My turn, then your turn. Dum, diddy, dum, dum. Go. Rest. Nice job. Rings on fingers, rings on thumbs. My turn first, then your turn. Dum, diddy, dum, dum. Go. Rest. Nice job. Monkeys drum and monkeys hum. My turn, then your turn. Dum, diddy, dum, dum. Go. Dum. My turn. Hand picks an apple. Hand picks a plum. My turn. Dum, diddy, dum, dum. Your turn. My turn. Hand plays banjos. Strum. Hand plays a fiddle. Zum. My turn. Then your turn. Dum, diddy, dum, dum. Go. My turn. Hand in hand, more monkeys come. Many more fingers, many more thumbs, many more monkeys drumming on a drum. Millions of fingers, millions of thumbs, millions of monkeys drumming on a drum. I go first, you go second. Dum, diddy, dum, dum. Your turn. Nice job. Give yourself a round of applause. You made it all the way through the story. Now, what if I really wanted to turn this whole book into like my own little rap? Do you think you could help me keep a beat while I'm doing the reading? There's a lot of rhyming, right? Raps have a lot of rhymes. I bet you can help me keep the beat. So what I mean by keeping the beat is just a steady beat on the drum. So I'm going to start playing. When you feel ready, join in with my steady beat. Join in when you feel ready. Good. Now, while we're doing this steady beat, here's the trick. You still have to listen for the dum diddy dum part because you're going to get to play the ostinato when that part comes around. And then you go right back to keeping the beat. Think you can do that? I'm going to try to help you, so I'm not going to hold the storybook up anymore. I'm going to keep it down here on my lovely desk, and we're going to see if we can do it. So my beat is, can you keep the beat with me? Now I'm going to start reading. Hand, fingers, thumb, one thumb, drumming on a drum. One hand, two hand, drumming on a drum. Change, dum, diddy, dum, dum. Play that. Diddy, dum. Back to the steady beat. Ready, here we go. Rings on fingers, rings on thumbs. yourself a round of applause. Wonderful. Now, I bet you're thinking, what can I do with this at home? Well, now here's the fun part. You have your bowl that you are playing on right now. What if I told you you could make your own instrument at home with just a couple items? So I'm really sad because in May, I was going to do this with my students. I had everything ready at home, and so I actually have some of the supplies here with me. So, as you know, Easter's coming up, and so I went ahead and bought a giant box of Easter eggs. And I was totally ready to build our own maracas. Now, I bet you're thinking, what if we don't have Easter eggs at home? Well, if you don't have Easter eggs at home, I also brought this can. Now, this can has a lid. I didn't have a bottle at home, but if you have a water bottle, some of those little water bottles, if you have, a jug of some sort, any of those can be used to make an instrument at home. Now, we're focusing today on percussion, but there are a lot of other cool instruments that you can make at home just using recycled goods. You can find a bunch of videos on YouTube for that. I'm focusing on making my own maraca. So, I brought a couple things with me today. You already saw my macaroni, and then I also brought a thing of rice. So, if I were to do these Easter eggs, now my Easter eggs have holes in them, so I'm going to pick the item that does not fall out of the hole. So I'm going to pick my macaroni, and I'm just going to put a scoop of macaroni into my Easter egg, and then I'm going to close it. And now, I have my own handheld instrument. Now I have my own maraca. Now, if you want to have 2 maracas, you can just fill it up again and have 2. Now, 2 maracas, 2 shaker eggs. You can play around with these. Right now I have macaroni. If I had beans at home, I could do 1 macaroni and 1 bean, and I could see, do they sound different? Do they sound the same? And you can play around with the different sounds and figure out which sound you like the best. Now, if your eggs don't have holes in it, you could totally put rice in it, or if you have a hot glue gun and you can glue these holes shut, you could totally put rice in it as well. Coffee beans work really well and they smell really good. But yeah, I use macaroni just because it's easy and it's not going to fall out. Cool thing about these eggs too, if you're kind of artsy and you like drawing, before you put anything in here, you could design your eggs. You could take some Sharpies or some markers and you could color these. And then the added bonus, if you have, so it wouldn't be one of these spoons, but if you have a plastic spoon at home, you could glue your egg into there, so now your maraca has a handle, and then you could decorate the spoon as well. Now, if you don't have Easter eggs at home, I brought my other jar. Now this jar had a label on it, I ripped it off. You could totally take a piece of paper and design your instrument. You could look up different things from the culture that has maracas, and you could design that. If you say are feeling rainbow colors, you could draw a big rainbow. If you wanted to draw sports, you could draw whatever you want. Now I'm going to do this one with rice so you can hear a little bit of a difference. So I'm going to take a scoop of rice, put it in my container, close it on up, and then I can give it a shake. Hear the difference? This one sounds a little louder. This one sounds a little higher and a little quieter. So there's a bunch of different things that you can do at home. But like I said, online there's a bunch of cool videos. And if your music teacher has sent you a choice board and said build your own instrument, this is a really simple idea for building your own instrument. Now if you've decided to build your own instrument, what you could also do is create your own musical ostinato using the same words that we used for our storybook. So for example, we know that dum is a quarter note and ditty is an eighth note. If I erase this and I said, okay, you're going to write your own 4-beat patterns. Let's say I wanted to do, let's start with ditty this time. So what if we did ditty, maybe do another ditty, and then we could do dum, dum. So now my pattern looks like this. So you think I can play this on my instrument? I always say do a couple things first. Let's say it first. Diddy, 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 dum, dum. Go. Diddy, 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 dum, dum. Now we're going to add a clap. I go first, you go second. Diddy, 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 dum, dum. Go. Diddy, 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 dum, dum. I just realized I added an extra thing to that. Let me slow that down for you. So it's diddy, diddy, dum, dum. Diddy, diddy, dum, dum. I was trying to make an AP pattern. We'll do that later. So, diddy, diddy, dim, dum. Diddy, diddy, dum, dum. This is why it's really important to practice your patterns. Now we can play it on our drums. Listen first. Diddy, diddy, dum, dum. Go. Diddy, diddy, dum, dum. Diddy, diddy, dum, dum. Now what I was saying was I was saying this. Because I really like these notes. That's not how you make a Y. Boop. That is what I was saying. So that pattern, let's put some rest down here. This pattern is now diddy, 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 dum, dum, rest, rest. Diddy, 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 dum, dum, rest, rest. So you can take all of this that we've been doing and you can start making your own ostinatos at home. You could do an ostinato along to your favorite song. You could just keep a steady beat to your favorite song. You could build yourself an instrument to play along with your favorite song. Whatever you want to do to keep you making music at home is totally, totally, totally fun and exciting. And we all miss having you in music class. Making music and making instruments without my students around is really difficult. So I hope that this was a fun lesson. I hope this gave you something to think about and gave you something to be creative with at home. And again, you can make all these patterns and you can make these simple instruments with household things. I hope you enjoyed your time with Music with Miss Hudak, and I can't wait to see you guys again in the fall. Have a great break, guys.